What's good, people? How's it going? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, please do subscribe down below, smash the like, hit the bell. Those things help out a lot. YouTube doesn't notify people when we upload, so just make sure you smack that bell. That way you will get notified. Anyway guys, today we got a dope episode for you. It's all about how to grow big dense flowers. A lot of people want to grow those big dense resin covered flowers, and that's every grower's dream, I know. Well, don't let your dreams just be dreams. You can make them a reality, and we're going to tell you how you can make some big buds of your own, indoors or outdoors. It doesn't matter, applies to everyone. Now, we all know our favorite plant is a plant capable of surviving extreme conditions. If you didn't see my video yesterday on cold temperatures and the plants, definitely check that out. But all that said, it doesn't mean that large dense yields are guaranteed. In fact, they're not always guaranteed at all. Ensuring that the correct conditions for optimal growth are maintained should be the priority for any grower, especially if dense buds is your primary objective. You like those big buds? Well, listen on up, because we're going to tell you what to do. Now, the most common causes of an underwhelming, airy, shitty crop is bad lighting, poor nutrition, overwatering, and extreme temperatures. Letting just one of those factors get out of hand, especially towards the end of a plant's life cycle, can dramatically impact the quality and the size of your flowers. So today I'm going to take a look at each of those and show you how you can optimize your yields for the densest flowers possible. So stick around. But before we get into that, guys, we just want to let you know that iCan Seed Club membership is still open. If you guys are interested in snagging a membership, definitely check it out. Beans for a whole year, plus gold boxes and a whole bunch of other perks, man. You definitely don't want to miss out on that. It's worldwide. We're sending stuff all over the world right now. It's crazy, man. So definitely jump on if you haven't already. Sign up, fill out a form, we'll send you an email, complete payment, and you're in. You get your unique member number, you get your gold members box, and you get a bunch of other perks all along the way. Definitely sign up. But without further ado, guys, let's get into today's episode. Yes, guys, now a lot of people may know, starting off, you need to figure out one thing. What genetics am I going to run? That's a big question for a lot of growers, and a lot of it starts off right there. So you got to start with the right genetics, and I say that all the time. You may be lucky enough to grow a bag seed and have some awesome genetics, but sometimes you can spend months, you can spend time, energy, money, nutrients, a bunch of stuff, and then you get something at the end that's not really worth it. That's not always the case. I've grown some fire bag seeds, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you can miss as well, and I've grown some shitty ass bag seeds as well. So there's always that. And when it comes to the genetics, a lot of people are sativa, indica, hybrid, but in reality, guys, don't get tied up on that too much. It's not very often that you'll find a pure indica strain or a pure sativa strain. A lot of them are hybrids anyway. What that literally means is that they've been extensively crossbred a number of times, so they will show characteristics of one and maybe of the other as well. Now that leads me on to my second point. Perfect. Choose the right pots. If you're growing autos, you want to pop the seed into its final pot. If you're not, you can start off in a smaller pot and up pot over time. Every time you up pot with mycorrhiza, the root ball increases in size by a lot. So up potting is always a good idea for the photo periods. And if you're looking for mycorrhiza to throw in there and triple that root size, use Dynamyco. Because huge shout out to Dynamyco. They've actually given us a discount code that you guys can use and snag a discount on their website and on Amazon. iCan THC 420. Definitely hit them up and grab yourself some Dynamyco. Your roots will love it, and you can thank me later. Now, there are a lot of different pots that you can use. Air pots, fabric pots, all that stuff. Just pick one that works for your setup. Now, if you're lucky enough to grow outdoors, you can grow directly into the ground, or you can use some huge pots. And the bigger the pot, a lot of the times you'll get some bigger flowers out of that as well. But it's not solely down to that, because light intensity plays a big part in it. If you're outdoors and you're not getting a lot of light, that can be an issue. So let's move on to optimizing your lighting. Now, it's no secret that plants need a lot of light to conduct physiological processes that ultimately fatten your buds up. So what can you do to optimize lighting indoors and outdoors? Because simply put, maintaining optimal light intensity is crucial. The more light the buds get, the fatter they grow. But don't let your lights get too close or too far away from your canopy. If you're too close, it can burn, and if it's too far, it may not be strong enough to produce satisfactory results. If you don't have a power meter, a good test is just to place your hand right above the canopy, and if the heat produced by the lights is uncomfortable for you, it's probably uncomfortable for your plants as well. But if you got a power meter, you can really dial in what's going on. Now, you can also improve that light intensity by getting some reflective walls in there. We've done a whole video on reflective walls, materials, the best materials, the worst materials. Definitely check it out if you haven't already, because that video will help you increase the amount of photons getting to your plant. And that's what matters. You can have all the light in the world, but if it's not reaching your plant, then then good luck to you. So the main idea of the reflective walls is to bounce a lot of that lost light back onto your plants in different areas, so your buds get light from all sides. Now lighting schedule is another one. In general, the more light the plants receive, the better, but you also want to make sure your light bill is not too hard on your back pocket. The best results without going overboard, I'll stick to an 18-6 light cycle during veg and a 12-12 during flower. You can even go down to 11-13 during flower if you really want to. Now light color is also important. Plants use certain light frequencies more effectively than others at certain stages of its life. Some lights emit blue hues, some light emits more red hues for flowering, so definitely check that out. Some lights are also just full spectrum like the Mars Hydro lights. So if you want to check out the Mars Hydro lights, definitely check them out. All of them bang and all of them have got external dimmers that you can use to adjust your brightness. No more burning plants, and the discount code ICANTHC will save you money on every single item on their website. Definitely check that out.
This video is brought to you by Mars Hydro, where they have a variety of grow lights and grow tents for growers of all experience levels. Whether you're a small home grower or setting up a slightly bigger commercial operation, they have the tents and lights for you. They have tents for every space and need, including the new 2-in-1 tents. And they also have a wide variety of lights to choose from, including full spectrum LED and the new detachable FCE series. Links to all of the products that we use on this channel, including the Mars Hydro grow lights, are in the description below. Be sure to use the links below to support the ICANTHC channel. You can also save a few bucks on the Mars Hydro website by using the code ICANTHC at checkout for store-wide savings. Don't forget to use the code and save yourself a few bucks. Now, back to the video.
Now if you're growing outdoors, you got the advantage of working with the best grow light in the entire freaking world. It's called the sun. To help your outdoor plants produce dense flowers though, you want to make sure you position them in parts of your garden that receive the most light at the best times of the day. Most growers try to find a spot that receives a lot of light in the morning and the early afternoon, which has a little bit more shade during the super hot periods. The idea is to get your plants a lot of light but not too hot. Now speaking of heat, you need to optimize that temperature and humidity. That's a big one for big nugs. Because literally guys, temperature and humidity need to maintain an ideal balance in order for plants to develop dense and healthy flowers. Otherwise it can just spell danger, mediocre results, or worse like bud rot, mold, all sorts of stuff. You don't want to go there. So it's important that your temperature stays within a good range. For me, the ideal range is between 18 degrees Celsius and 26 degrees Celsius. Too hot and flowering will be stunted and buds will be seriously damaged. They'll be airy, wispy, just not good. Outdoors, high temperatures can be an issue depending on where in the world you're located. If you gently spray your plants with water, that can help them bear the heat of July and August temperatures, but don't spray any water on the leaves when your plants receive direct sunlight. That'll cause them to burn. Think of like a magnifying glass in the sun. It'll literally cause sunburn to your plants' leaves. Now when it comes to humidity, you also want to tie that up closely with the temperatures because those two go hand in hand. When you're in flower especially guys, you want to make sure not to go over that 60% range, and even that is a little bit on the higher side for me, but you want to try not to go over that range. As you progress further through flower, if you can slowly get that RH down to around 45%, then that's ideal. Most times the plant goes into overdrive as it seeks to protect its flowers, which responds by producing denser buds with more resin. Lower humidity will also help to avoid mold formation on your flowers. No one likes that mold, dude. Now I spoke about this one recently. Proper plant spacing is a big one, and that's a key aspect of growing denser buds. Proper plant freaking spacing. Everyone who likes to cram their tents, that's not me. For me, by keeping enough distance between my plants, I ensure that they don't overshadow each other, and that helps to maximize the amount of light that reaches the bud sites on each plant. Plus, I can promote better air circulation throughout my grow room and my garden, which makes it easier for the plants to breathe and protects them against issues like mold, pathogens, and pests. Now, a lot of times increasing the amount of CO2 in your grow room can help you to grow bigger, denser flowers. By doing so, the plants will photosynthesize faster and encourage them to take up more nutrients and water, so it's a great option. But it's not always cheap and it can drive up the humidity in super small spaces. Now, speaking of humidity, if you're an outdoor grower, you're obviously at Mother Nature's mercy, and while you don't have the complete control over the temperature and humidity in the environment, there are a few things that you can do to maximize your plant's potential. You can properly space your plants as well. Just like indoor growers, properly spacing them is important. You can also use proper watering and feeding techniques. That way you can give them what they need when they need it. It's all about giving them what they need and when they need it, man. Also, planting plants in a part of your garden with a gentle breeze will help to avoid any moisture buildup. If your plants get too hot, you can cover them or bring them inside if they're in pots. and protecting him from harsh rains, storms, gale winds, and all that stuff is also important. Biggest one when it comes to getting those big dense flowers is proper feeding schedules. Each strain has different feed requirements. I've literally fed 3 different strains the same feeding schedule, and all 3 of them reacted differently. One got burnt, one went fine, and one was underfed. Like, bruh, what the hell, man? But that happens. That just goes to show every plant is different. Plants have different feeding schedules, plants eat differently, plants like different levels of nutrients, just like you and me. I don't like pineapple on my pizza. I'm not that kind of guy, but that guy does, so hey. So getting to know just how much to feed your plant, when to change the amounts, and how often to feed comes with experience. But in general, guys, most time plants require more nitrogen during the veg stage and more potassium and phosphorus during the flowering stage, and that leads to big fat bud production. And it's always important to keep an eye on the pH of your growing medium, because that can affect the nutrient uptake, which directly impacts the size of your flower. Now, a lot of people actually use molasses and other amino acids as a bud booster, but what it in fact does is help to create a breeding ground for those beneficial microorganisms and beneficial bacteria in the soil, and creates a perfect environment for your plant's roots. It doesn't actually make the buds bigger. It feeds the environment within the roots, that in turn feeds your plant, and that makes the buds bigger. Now, a lot of people also say that growing organically has helped them get some really dense flowers and produces a great product with an awesome taste. But a lot of DWC growers have said the same thing. So drop a comment down below and let me know which side of the fence you're on. Now, knowing when to harvest is key, because a lot of flowers pack on a lot of size during the last couple of weeks before harvest. If you rush to harvest too soon, you miss out on that chance to pack on all that weight. So many beginner growers harvest their plants too early and miss out on that final weight packing session. So a lot of times I suggest getting a microscope. USB microscopes work great and they're relatively cheap. That way you can look at your trichomes and you can determine exactly when to harvest. We've done a whole video on when to harvest, drying and curing, and that whole process, man. So definitely check those videos out, man. We're dropping a lot of knowledge for you guys, so don't miss that shit. Now, those are a few of my tips when it comes to growing big dense flowers. A lot of people have different tips, different tricks. They have like fertilizers and stuff they like to use, bottle nutrients, big bud candy, all that stuff. But personally, I stay away from some of that stuff, especially if I'm growing organically. There's nothing wrong with it, don't get me wrong. It actually works great. I've used a lot of them already. But for me, these are the tips that I've found work regardless of your setup, and you can use them regardless of what you're running. So always keep that in mind, guys. Like I said, if there's any tips that I have mentioned, drop them down below in the comments. I'm always interested to find out what you guys got to say. So if you like big dense flowers, smash the freaking like for that. And don't forget to hit the bell. But wait, first, check out this video right here and this video right here. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace, fam.